What is up, traders? Welcome to the Woo, or to whatever I'm going to call this YouTube. Um, and welcome to the 0 people who are going to watch this. I'm speaking to the thin air, the dust. But with that said, let's waste no time. Let's get into it. My goal with these videos is to bring every Sunday a weekly watch list and the week's expectations. Videos throughout the week, likely every other day, depending on the market. We're coming into the summer. We're gonna hit a slow market June, mid-June, after mid-June, July. We're just gonna grind up or go sideways or whatever the market's gonna do. Maybe we'll eventually go live. We can all trade live together. For now, let's grow. These videos will be unedited, straight off the cuff, simple notes that you can see. That way you can follow along. I show them so you have something to reference back to, note yourself while I'm talking about them. That way you don't have to rewind the video. You can just look over to the left and see them. But my aim is to bring you the most important news, the best high probable plays, my high confidence setups. I outsource through scanners, through X. There are a couple guys out there who just kill it and they don't miss. Shout out to the Titan traders, Titan TT Stocks. Follow him on X. Peter Carley, Moon Market. Those are my guys for my small caps. But anyways, I like to touch on the economy a little bit. I like to focus on it because it matters, but it doesn't matter. But it really matters. I don't know. It only matters when it matters. The market makers, all they care about is uncertainty and guidance. What does the future look like? They start planning stuff and they'll start kicking some stuff through the news, through CNN, through Bloomberg, and they just play with you. So it really doesn't matter until you get these big, like for data as an example, once you get these big blowout misses like NFP that's coming up this Friday. Once you get a negative 200,000 jobs report, that's when it will matter. If you get a surge of 300,000 jobs, 200,000 jobs, that's when it matters. Once you get outside the lines of the data, that's when it matters. But we'll get into more of that in a minute. I like to give 3 to 10 plays. That's what I focus on. I try to keep it small, generally on the lower side. But right now, everything is so hot, and I want to bring a variety. I want to keep my eyes on a variety. That way, when the market doesn't go a certain sector, a certain theme doesn't go my way, there's always a backup and then a backup. And if not, you just hang up the day. There's no reason to keep trading, especially the guys who are working full time, working during market hours, like myself. I got a lot of meetings that I have to go to. There are some times where I'm traveling. I can't always be locked in. And if the plays aren't just A1, A plus, right there, there's no point of even trading. This is our money. We're trying to grow it. We're trying to get rich. Let's not squander it. We have the best opportunity right now in this market. It's heated. We have 1 to 2 weeks left, but let's get into it. June usually goes hard. It's usually where the last pump is. And so the first 2 weeks are going to be the most volatile. We could see some minor pullbacks like we did recently last night with Trump and Lebanon and Bibi Netanyahu telling each side, Hezbollah and Israel, to stand down, stop firing, stop pushing forward troops. It's all to mess with you. I like news and I don't like news because it obviously moves markets, but you need to find the news before the news and then sell the news, buy the rumor, sell the news. Even if there is no rumor, sometimes you can just tell from the chart. I am a technical based trader because the news oftentimes does the opposite. And so I've just trained myself to focus on the charts. And I think the 90% should. Most of us do not get news, do not get fundamentals. So if you want to trade, start learning that. Take your time going over filings, earnings reports. Note in Microsoft Note, Google Notes, whatever note platform you can use to start honing in on what happens when this happens or that happens. But I got 3 themes for you. Watch for some good dip buying opportunities, which I think we will have some, especially in the bigger cap space names. They're kind of dipping right now. And bye PDT rule. I think that's going to be a big factor of what's going to bring a lot of volatility. I think there's going to, if you've made it this far in the 6 minutes listening to me banter, listen to this. The PDT rule is going away, and millions of people are going to be able to trade in and out all day without being subject to a cash account restriction. And so, or a PDT rule if they're using margin. This is going to bring immense opportunity and also inherent risk. The market makers are going to use this to their advantage. If what you're seeing right now, if something's pumping, I think that leaders are not going to lead for long, and it's just going to be it's going to look like a heart rate monitor. A lot of these charts are going to start looking very wonky. I think a big shift is coming. This hasn't been in effect for, I think, 20, 30 years. Or after 08 is when they took away, when they raised the margin requirements and implemented the PDT rule. But it's going to bring a lot of money into stocks. The Trump accounts are going live. That's going to bring a lot of money into stocks. That is just another bullish catalyst upon the many others. And so, actually, I have 4 themes for you. And I'll tell you this 4th theme now that it's on my mind, which is a perfect time to start loading shares. If you want to get crazy, load leaps. Crypto. I think crypto is going to go down a little further. Bitcoin's going to touch 60K before one last real big major pump. But the Trump administration and Trump are going to save crypto and legislation more towards right before election. I think in late July, August, they're going to start putting forward bills. They're going to start voting on it, and they're going to sign bills to get crypto legislated. And that is when I believe we're going to see a lot more money inflow coming into crypto. For now, it's down. It's one of the last sectors to tag along in this rally. This is where the real money is made, when you can set aside money in a longer term account aside from trading and buy things that are down. I'm not buying chip stocks, maybe SMZI. There's not really too much that's left that I want to hold for 10 years at this point, because when it goes in 10, 20 years, I don't want to buy AMD, Marvel. I would buy Nvidia, actually. I would be willing to hold that. I think that still has a lot of meat on the bone. But ARM, these things were are up 100, 200 to thousands of percent in 6 months. I'm not putting that in my long term. I'm not holding on to that. We all should have bought that before when the war was happening. But that time is gone. Crypto time is now. So crypto stocks, I think there are 3 big ones that really matter. 2 major ones, Coinbase and Gemini and Gemmy. Keep your eyes on those, watch them. But my goal is to keep these videos short, and I'm already at 10 minutes of just bantering. So yesterday morning we had manufacturing PMI, ISM. The numbers are good. The economy's good. Manufacturing is booming. We're bullish. Today we have Joel's Jobs, Wednesday ISM Services, and Friday NFP, which is generally the bigger one. I don't think any of these are going to be too big. We do have Kevin Warsh coming in. Who knows if they are going to pull something crazy with some data coming up. But next week we have CPI, PPI, and consumer sentiment. Just know that these are going to happen. Don't trade on them. Let them get released, and then we can play the after effects. Earnings, HPE is all I care about that happened yesterday. I mean, what a monster. This is the AI build out phase, the AI boom. Everything is tagging along. This thing was at 30 2 days ago. It's up 100%. Today, Tuesday, there's only one that I care about. And they do this all the time. They sell it off pre-market and they rip it. This thing has been on a tear. I do not play earnings when the charts look like this, because you never know. I want to see consolidation if I'm ever going to make an earnings play. And typically I want to play the earnings run-up play. Playing it a day or two before is a slot machine. But do what you will. GitLab is another one that has just gone straight up. I fumbled the bag here. I had it at 22 and 24, and I wanted to open up some capital. Wednesday is the big one, Wednesday and Thursday, but really Wednesday. Broadcom and CrowdStrike are on high alert, so we'll have to see what those numbers do. Just like every other earnings and every other catalyst that's happened recently, it's all bullish. I think the earnings run up is the big one. That's the main buy the rumor, sell the news. Same with CrowdStrike. This is nuts. Is it sustainable? I think, of course. Also, another side note, everybody wants a market crash. The market doesn't have to crash. It just can go sideways for 10 years in some of these stocks, and we could eventually just look like this. This is where we could be at in the market. There is so much money floating around. Anybody asking for a crash doesn't understand the economy, doesn't understand the money flow, why everything is going up, because there's another 5 trillion going into the market. Anyways, Thursday, Rubrik, Planet Labs, Lulu, DocuSign, just ones to watch. Sometimes you can go with common shares, and Meta always dips and sometimes rips really hard in the other direction. the contrarian trade, if you can scalp that first minute, that first 30 seconds, that is the way to really trade earnings the safe way, if that's even a thing. But SpaceX IPO, Kevin Warsh's first FOMC, June 16th, and whatever Trump posts, whatever Iran developments, and the tariff drama, which we have seen last night and yesterday after the close. But there could be some hiccups in the SpaceX IPO, and that could give us the pullbacks that I was talking about. Market didn't like Trump for some odd reason, talking with Bibi and Hezbollah, telling them to stop shooting. It is Taco Tuesday. Watch for a bunch of swings intraday. Every day is a mystery with Trump. And the three themes are space, China, and software, and the crypto. Load the crypto now. China's even a good load zone. With that said, Baidu is really my first play, but I want to touch on these three piles of shit. So everything is ripping. Now these are really starting to go sideways. I think just like Meta did back in 2024, it's just going to pop up. I think there are just going to be moments of no return with these stocks. Google, I think it's just going to kind of do its thing. I am watching this 362 level like a hawk. If it does not hold that, kind of like AMD held its gap up. When AMD held its gap up, it was perfect. It never went lower, and that's when you know you can signal. But that took a long time to play out. That took 6 months. And so Google might be a dead play if you're not playing support and resistance. But also what had happened, what we have seen before, I can't remember the tickers, but if we gap below and we leave this island up here, that could signal something. Google's a big player in the game. It's obviously ripped up with the rest of the market, and now it's going sideways. Sometimes these major stocks will start doing things first while the other markets are about to play catch up. And right now, Google is going sideways, Tesla's going sideways. Nvidia, it's looking really good. It is playing catch up currently, but who knows what we're going to see with this. There could be 2 weeks of drawdown, and then I think we're going to split the month of June up in halves. We're going to have 2 weeks of good, 2 weeks of bad, and then the summer of love, and all big cap stocks are just going to consolidate sideways and grind up at the same time. And that's going to bring a lot more money into the large to mid to small cap, and we're going to have a huge summer in the small cap land. And so let's get into the main plays. I really like Baidu. Baba and Baidu have had news overnight. Tariff news. I'm not going to get into it. But since the China meeting, it has done nothing. That was a big catalyst all throughout mid-April, and nothing happened. One big thrust up, and we have just came down. I think Baba has a lot of catalysts coming up, and I'll do a deeper dive into that We're at 20 minutes right now. I'm going to wrap this one up. I'm going to skip over some of these plays just for time's sake, but Baidu, I think, is a powerhouse in the making, and I think we're going to see. I mean, this is same time zone. I think we could see something like this, just like the rest of the market, just like Intel, just like everything else. I think the laggers are going to start playing catch up, and when they do, like a Baidu, it's going to be vicious. Is buying a $400, $300, $400 option call stupid? Generally, yes, when we're sitting at 132, but right now I'm looking at the July 17th 180 call for $1.49. They don't even have them. Don't even have them. Don't even have them. None of these are even that far out of the money. But you could go to the furthest out of the money and try to hit something big. I mean, realistically, we could be at 200 by July. Baidu is on my top watch. I think we've had a very nice consolidation period, and I think it's ready for its next phase up, just like it did right here. We have a inverse head and shoulders, and we came back and tested it. Keep Baidu on your watch list and Baba too, but I like Baidu personally. CoreWeave. The Leopold hype is real. I think a monster swing is coming back. This chart looks a lot. No wonder it didn't pull up. CoreWeave. The Leopold hype is real. I think the June 17th 200 call is a optimal trade for what we could see. My only concern is this is a size for zero type of trade, because every time you get these bullish candles, you get smacked down. Bullish candles, smack down. Bullish candles, smack down. Every time it looks to be going good, smack down. Smack down. Smack down. What's going to be different? That is the trend. I'm not going to go against the trend, but I'm going to watch these. If we can break above 138, 140, that is when I will look to position. For now, this is just on my watch list. Unless premiums get stupid cheap for a 200 call, probably more towards July. But if we do a little gap down, I might throw some money in today. But currently in currently in Amaze, there was some hype, and this thing gapped up. The CEO bought 400K plus shares. It ripped up. I don't know if this was a technical sell-off. I don't know what exactly he has. He said Tuesday is going to be a big day, and so we'll see. Today is Tuesday. We'll see what happens. But I am positioned and sized for zero. These CEOs don't care about us. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. I'm not going to believe any of them. GNS, the scam company, they're always touting good news. We have some significant advancements in naked short selling. We're going to get them. It's all bullshit. But FlyX, they have a merger coming up to acquire some of JTAI's business, and it had a good day at the end of the day yesterday, and volume increase. And I think that's when you really start. I think we're grinding up, and it came back and it tested these EMAs. Realistically, $3 is real close. I think the daily does it more justice. This stock reminds me of DGXX. Much different share structure, different sector. I'm aware of that. But look at what happened. You had a pump, came down, and went sideways. And then you just absolutely ripped. So I'm going with shares on FlyX. I think we're doing the same exact thing, just on a shorter and shrunken time frame. I definitely have $3 on my sights with my shares. I will trim a good portion of them once we get there. It's key resistance. The merger is coming up mid-June, so buy the rumor, sell the news. Easy as that. And realistically, I'm almost tempted to give JTAI, who they're purchasing from, probably a little more capital, because this chart looks amazing. I really like how it's grinded up. It just gets beaten down. With their new incoming money, they could receive that money and do something really good with it. Throwing a couple $100, not a bad idea. Because with this share structure, with the market cap, realistically, this thing could squeeze to the high heavens. And so all it needs is that recipe, that catalyst. Moving on, Clean Spark. It has been on a steady grind up, and these are some of the stocks that I'm looking for some bigger pullbacks in. I would like to see some bigger red days leading into this. You go straight up, it's not sustainable. At this point, it doesn't look like it wants to stop. And so a $25 call looks real good. Oh, and speaking of FlyX and that deal and the company, I did some DD. Go on my page on Twitter and type into the search bar, hit the little magnifying glass and type in FlyX, and you'll find it. The good outweighs the bad in that company, and I think it's going to have a good size pop very soon. Clean Spark, just a technical momentum. It's on a rope, and I want to be on that rope, climbing to the high heavens. Now, I'm going to skip past Sun. I'm going to just go over it real quick, but scalping some... You son of a biscuit. Scalping some shares as it... What the fuck? All right. So in this account, I bought up here and sold down here. But in Moomoo, I caught all of this move. And I sold out at 156. And so it went up to 190 and then it came down. I think we're going to come down a little bit more. Right now it's sitting at 130s. I think we're going to test a little bit more of these lows at 1. I think we're going to come down to the low ones, and then we could very well rip right back up. And so if we do get that, if we do get a 115, 110 test, I would love to start adding back to the position. Now, my 2 favorite plays, very simple. I am looking for some laggers in the software sector, and I think this is numero uno. The smaller time frame doesn't do it justice. I mean, this thing IPO'd a few years back. Realistically, this is all you need to know. All I need to know. All we need to know. If we break that, we're going to 60s. We're going to 80s. It could just leave you behind and gap up. And so I'm going to look for some longer term swings. I'm going to look June. I'm going to scale in to 3 contracts, but the main one is the June 18th $75 call for a quick flip. And that will allow to start scaling into some July and to some August. Is it August or September's? September's and August. I think these September 150 calls, easy money. If this thing starts breaking out and starts going for new all-time highs, 150 is not out of the question. And actually, it's around the same price. Put that on there. That is, write that one down. I like the September 18th 150 call. You could play some short-term volatility, some catch-up, and all it takes is if we get over 54. If we get over 54 and start pushing past 55, she's going to rip. We are at 31 minutes. My last play has to do with the PDT rule, and they just acquired WonderFi, entering into the Canadian market into crypto. I think Hood is about to go crazy with their earnings. I think $80 is a gift. I think if we have any meaningful pullback and we get down to the 50s, the 40s, Hood is one of those stocks you want to own. Realistically, it's looking like we're going to rip. Hood has already said they're ready to go for this PDT rule to be removed Thursday. They will be one of the first ones. I haven't heard any other broker be as vocal as they are with getting rid of the PDT rule. And so watch Robinhood. I think July 17th 160 call. I think this thing is going to all-time highs very soon. Robinhood is a software. I think if we get every software stock boosting back up, I think Tempest AI and Robinhood are going to be the ones you don't want to miss the recovery. And so, with that being said, thank you, 0 viewers, for sticking around. If you did make it 30 minutes, 33 minutes and 25 seconds into this video, hit the like button. And thank you. Thank you for giving me your time. I look forward to providing more videos for you in the future. This is going to help keep me honest. I have a Discord that I write all my notes in and all of my plays in, outside of this that I wrote and kind of copy and pasted and made up for this video. But thank you and have a great day.